I think with that we'll get going. So welcome everyone to today's revealing of the magic that is FME 2017. My name is Dale Lutz.
And I'm Don Murray.
And together we're the co-founders of Safe Software, and we're very excited to be showing you all kinds of amazing things that the team has been up to that we think are going to make you more productive in the work you do day to day.
Yeah, and I know we've both been using it for several months now, and I just can't wait to get it out in everybody's hands.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. Now, our old friend Arthur C. Clarke, if you're old enough to remember, he said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're kind of saying is that FME, we're a little bit...
Yeah, we're having fun with it.
We're a bit full of ourselves here.
We're having fun with it. But it is like magic.
It is, and it is advanced technology. We probably shouldn't underplay that.
That's right.
There's not too many other things that do what we do. And so, so we're kind of having some fun with the magic theme this year, because we know that all of you do perform magic. We hear it all the time, feedback from customers. I can't believe they can put in some strange ingredients and get out a shining piece of gold.
Yeah.
And that's what you do day after day. Yeah. So we hope that you'll enjoy it. So here's the splash screen, and I had some Twitter conversation last night that this might be the greatest splash screen since FME 2006 GB, and then the person asked if there was fruit involved. But there isn't. There's just a variety of
spices there.
Spices.
Transformation spices.
I think there's vitamins, maybe, herbs, spices.
Yeah, some interesting clouds of whatever coming up there, yeah.
And of course our gecko, for those that that refuse to use FME without it, he's definitely there as well. And if you come to FME World Tour, little sneak preview, you may see more of that particular guy.
Yeah.
I've heard too. Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of interesting that the crystal ball really is a crystal ball of formats.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And I don't actually, XML isn't as prominent as it should be.
No, but it's prominent in one of the bottles. So I'll have to talk with Colin before we do the final.
Because I think Small World is there. JPEG has got the biggest font.
ArcGIS is there. Esri's there.
So I think I've actually didn't count this time around, but there's got to be close to 365.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 370 formats in FME.
Yeah. And then with all the web connection stuff we added, those don't even appear in the formats list.
Yeah.
You know, so.
It's getting hard to keep track.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So let's get into looking at the kinds of changes. There's sort of two families of changes. There's the changes that affect all of you every day that we hope make your lives more productive and fun. And then there's the ones that are a little more expanding the frontier, that allow you to do things you never could do before. So let's look at the ones that we think you're going to use every day. And the first one that hits you is the all-new type to add. You know, I've been using this so long I kind of have forgotten about it.
I know. And now the thing I love about it, it's aside from what you're going to show, that it shows descriptions and stuff.
Yes.
Is now readers and writers are there.
Yes. So first of all, let me type log. And I don't know how many of you used to type log and end up with the very popular logarithmic rounder. That used to come up first.
Because it was alphabetical.
Yep, and A comes before G, I guess.
I guess it does, yeah.
And look at that. There. Whoa, I was too slow to type it in, so whoops, something happened there. Logarithmic rounder. So I was going to say that this also tells you that 2,574 misguided people downloaded it. But anyway, you can go for logger, but if you start typing something odd like logaroo, it tells you, you know what, why don't you go searching FME Hub, because there is no logaroo, and then here there may well be some additional places. FME Hub is actually integrated into here now. Yeah, that's so that's a new thing.
Yeah, it also shows you in the drop down in there if there's something on FME Hub as well.
Yeah, those are in there. That's only if you're
really
stumped.
Nice that you can. Yeah.
So anyway, but as Don was hinting, if we want to do everybody's favorite format, let's say shapefiles.
Yeah.
You can just type that,
and then you
can see, and you can kind of add a shapefile reader, and there I would go and start to do that.
Because I can't tell you the number of times I've typed the format name in there, and then in the past, and I had to go.
The bad thing for
then
you,
I had to go, and there's lots of great stuff there for sure. But now you can see all the formats that have anything to do with XML, and there's like got to be 100 of them right away.
I never did this before. Right now, my gracious Don, there's a lot of XML formats.
There is.
Yep.
There is. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And we're adding more all the time.
Yes.
Because we love XML.
I know you do.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, is that type to add, and we think that's going to be
it's a big time saver, right?
It's a big, huge time saver. The next thing is that the transformer parameters are in dockable pane, and I'm going to just go back here, and I've got a workspace from world tour a little while ago. This is a fairly big workspace.
Yeah.
And so what you can now do is go and click on any transformer, and its parameters are right here, and you can fiddle them. And if I said, I want rule not to be 2, I can make it 3.
Yeah.
Then
when
3.
I really love this? I love this when I'm working with FME to have 2 monitors.
Yes.
Because then, or a really big monitor, and 2 monitors, I just drag that over to the side, and then as I click around, I don't have to, it saves you clicks, right?
Right. You can see what's on all of them.
Yeah. On an airplane, when I'm tight for real estate. So what if I'm on an airplane and I say, well, that's just taking too much real estate?
Then you can just use the gear like you used to. You can just dismiss this.
Best of both worlds, really.
Yep. Now you can select links. So if I select a link like that, I can then click on one end or the other and zoom her in. So if I click this back to 100%, and if I say, where was that attribute creator? Whoops, I'm at 211.
That's a good number.
There we go, back to 100%. So I can bob back and forth from one end of this to the other. Yeah, there we go. So you can kind of see that. And I was going to show this too, if I goes up to the top here, and let's just go over here. There's this attribute creator right here.
Yeah.
If I delete this thing, we replaced it with 2 new links.
Yeah.
And so if I want to zoom to one of them or another, I can just do that, and then I can see, and I can go to one end or the other, and that's the sort of multiple selection business that we can kind of work our way around. And you can even delete them in here.
You can see the links that you put in there.
Yeah. So that's one of the features of this thing, is when there's multiple selections, you can do a bunch of stuff. So if I do like that, you can now see I got several things selected, and I can just walk through them all and fiddle with them.
Yeah. Nice.
Including actually the feature types are also shown in here. Yeah. So that's what's
oh wow! Look at that. Parameters, user attributes, format attributes. Really nice. Yeah.
Yep. If I let's just hop.
Oh, this is huge for because sometimes I'll be going to a database.
Yep.
And initially I'll have them create as needed, because but then when I'm done, I just want to say like append, and so I could easily just
select them and do them from there. So that's a big exciting thing. I'm going to skip ahead on, well, let's just go back to the slides and I'll introduce it properly. Okay, there we go.
It's hard to go back to the slides. It's so exciting.
Yes. So we have, for the first time...
You see how I didn't actually spill the beans on that?
I know.
You got to be proud of me.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard. I was like biting my tongue.
So we know that people like their straight lines.
Yeah.
But actually, for those that like straight lines, we've got a treat for them as well.
Yeah.
You can have your straight lines, or you can have curvy lines.
Or classic.
Or classic.
If you like the old classic, you can still have that.
Well, and we know that many people, the cartographers in our user base, have actually routed these lines exactly the way they want them.
That's right.
So you can have them that way. But it's easy to flip. There's a view menu option on the connection style.
Yeah.
And so if I flip that, whoa, now I'm into the curves.
Yeah.
And there, this particular thing looks like that.
Looks even better just by doing that.
And I can go...
I'm a big curvy guy, I got to tell you.
Yeah. And then I can go to Manhattan, where everything is square.
Ooh, I'm not a big...
Not as big of a Manhattan guy.
No.
But
I've never been to Manhattan. Anyway.
But Manhattan actually looks kind of nice in a scenario like that.
Yeah.
Where you're going right around things. But if you go back to the curved, let's go back to the curved. Well, here's old-fashioned straight.
Yeah.
It's hard to actually like straight.
It's hard to like straight. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Once I made the switch to curvy, I never went back.
I think that many of us...
But then I have curly hair, so maybe that's why.
That's what they called Don Curly. That's his nickname around here. Actually, wasn't one of the Three Stooges named Curly?
He was, yeah. I think it was a bald guy, wasn't it?
Whoops. Okay, let's carry on.
Let's carry on there.
But seriously, we do know that you work within our Workbench day to day, and how things look matters. And so we do think that the curvy, I think we like the curvy enough, it's going to be the default.
Yeah, I think so. And it has saved me time, because I hate to admit it, but at times I spend time making my lines look good.
Yeah, the technical term is fritzing.
Fritzing, yeah. So I spend time fritzing around on my lines when really I should just be, with curvy, I don't worry about it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. We made a nice button. If you're writing to any kind of a file, you can hit that, and we'll make a zip file for you right out of the gate.
So I don't have to remember the syntax.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Just hit that, and it'll zipper up for you nicely. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Let's see. Oh yeah, if there's transformers that involve files, you can say, let me just go back here, and I'll just put down one. If I put down a, let's say, let's see, an attribute
Writer.
file writer or reader. If I have one of these guys,
Oh, look at that! He just connected himself right in there.
oh yeah, there he is. That was kind of aggressive, but
He wanted to be connected.
oh, I'm in Zoom mode. That's kind of annoying. All right. So anyway, if I have one of these guys, when I click on it, right now there isn't a file in there. But if I actually told it that I'm going to write to /temp/dale.txt,
yeah.
and then if there was one, let's do that.
Perfect.
And now I think it still doesn't because, hey, there is no file there for dale.txt. That's a bad example.
But it has a directory that shows you can open the directory.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So it knows that I'm trying to get there, and if I did that, bang, there's my folder showing me my temp directory.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that appears a bunch of places.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh yeah, these red, we in case you missed it, this was actually in 2016.1.
Right.
But it's worth talking about. And let me get a different workspace to show this because I think this Kanta GIS has one of these. No, I don't want to save that. So here's, oh, I don't think I've got one. But what's something that has a rejected port, Don?
Is the area and area overlayer? Did you put in points?
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah, it's got a rejected port.
Yeah. And
right now it's got a yellow, which means we're going to carry on and keep on going even if something happens. But in here, if I go into this, this is down in the workspace parameters, and I say rejected feature handling. Right now it says continue. Right. That's because it's an old workspace, and that was how we used to work.
That's right.
If I say terminate, then we get this thing, and I know, Don, you want me to zoom in on that, don't you?
Absolutely.
Let's zoom way in.
And this is really a This is really a big deal if you're doing QA or you think all your data should be going through all the ports. You don't have to connect the terminator to everything like you would have had to in the past if you want this functionality. You just turn this on, and then if anything unexpected happens for a particular data set, the translation is just going to end and you're going to know it. It's going to be a nice message in the log file so you know what went wrong. If you're running it in Workbench, you would see a number on the link.
Yes.
So it's, yeah.
See, and I think actually there's a setting even here up in this translation thing. This sets the default.
Right.
For me as a user. When I'm making a brand new workspace, am I the kind of person that just says live and let live? Mm-hmm. Or am I a little bit uptight?
Yeah, that's right.
And so each person can decide for themselves.
That's right.
And then, but also the workspace can override that because even if my default is live and let live,
that's right.
I can say, you know what, on this one I really want to know.
That's right. You really have full control because if you made everything terminate, but if there was one link you didn't care, you could just put a logger there or a counter there or something.
Or a logarithmic rounder.
Or even better. Yeah, and vice versa. If you wanted everything to continue, but there was one link you wanted to terminate, you just drop a terminator there.
Yes.
So you have full control.
So what we've done is basically we're on this campaign, we're closing in on being done on it, where we're saying to our user base, you decide when things are bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Not us.
Yeah, and we don't know.
Sometimes we used to be a little uptight.
We did.
And we would.
And users said loosen up, and other times we were loose, and users said tighten up.
Well, the funny thing is, Don and I began our world thinking that. Began FME thinking that data was inherently good, and if anything at all bad happened, we should end because clearly this is horrible. And over the years, we've kind of
realized that data's good and bad.
Yeah, and it's up to you to decide, not us.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a crowd pleaser. You can right-click on any parameter, copy, and then move to a new workspace and paste.
Yeah.
And that has been asked for a long time. Unfortunately, because we don't allow multiple selection in here, you can only do one at a time. But at least you can do one at a time.
That's right.
So,
and who knows what could happen in the future?
Now, a few things about our friend the Data Inspector, where it will really let us know the true inside. What matters is what's inside, Don, not the outside.
That's right.
And so,
no kissing's necessary, but hugging is recommended.
Yes. So, if I go back, let's see.
Oh, that's a nice looking map.
It is. It's a fine map. Let's see. I don't know how I'm going to. So I know that my friends. Well, let me see. He'd tell us that we aren't cartographers.
Zoom in.
Yeah, I'm a bit zoomed in there. So ahead of time, I went to the Vancouver Open Data, and I know I've gotten in trouble before working with animals, but it's just such a great data set. Now,
but this one, you're helping people find their animals.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. So I'm going to pull it right off FTP.
Yeah.
And the parameters, I'm pretty sure, are fine. It's going to show me this. Incidentally, CSV reading itself is drastically faster in this release.
Mm-hmm. Like an order of magnitude?
Yep, to just read them in. You'll
Yep.
notice that it'll go wham. So let's just take a look at what we got. And what I wanted to show here was, we're pulling it down. There we go. And yep, here we go. And so we got our lost animals. And what you'll notice is the table view now has, first of all, a pull down here of the various tables that are in play. Right now I've only got one.
Sure.
But if I had a bunch, I can pick them that way. If you start getting a few going, they'll get tabs for the ones you've looked at.
Yep.
But the big thing I wanted to look at was the columns. And we can go in here. If there's some columns that by default weren't shown, you can go and add them in by just checking them off. And if I say, you know, there's both a date and a date created, I don't want that one.
Right.
So I can get rid of it.
Right.
And I might be able to say, let's put the line number up at the top.
Right.
And let's take the state and put that as nearly up at the top too. And then I say OK to that, and then it's going to regenerate me that table the way I want it.
So it's almost, so to be clear, it's just the view you're changing. The underlying data is left alone.
Correct. That's a good point. And then I can get in here and start to sort things by, let's say, state. So that's kind of interesting that there's some of them we don't know if they're lost or found.
Yeah, and people might just go back to CSV number, line number.
Yeah.
And people might wonder, why does it start at 2?
Oh.
And that's because the first line was the headings.
And this actually is the CSV number. It doesn't know that it's sorting right now alphabetical.
Right.
So I can tell it, hey, you know what? Why don't you sort numeric for me, please?
Yeah. And
so
that's why
better.
It starts at 2, because number 1 is a header.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if we sort by date as well, then we can see who's been. Oh, we go all the way back.
Wow, those animals are.
Tex.
You know, I think I might be giving up on Tex. He might have died of old age by now.
Tex has been gone for a while. But if you look this way, I was going to say for my German friends, ich frage, wo ist Klaus? Wo ist Klaus? Anyway, Klaus is lost. And they also seem to have changed their data model. Now they say matched.
That means found. Is that the same as found?
Well, it is now, yeah. But long ago.
Oh no, they have 3 states. What's the other?
So they've got found.
Matched.
I don't know what matched.
I might refer.
Ooh, it might be in that other data set. Let's just move on from there. Let's
move on.
Quickly move on. So you get an idea of some of those things. There's a bunch of other data set or data inspector things you can click on. The numbers are beside every feature type, and if you click on them, it selects all of them, so you can march through them that way. Just a bunch of things we think should make your life better. Yeah. We showed this. That's the table schema. Now, telekinesis is about, I actually learned this from an old Star Trek episode from my youth, when basically the guy would think and then an object would move.
Yeah.
Amazing how they could pull that off in the 60s.
Yeah, I know.
You could hardly see. I bet there was a fish wire somewhere.
There must have been.
When those objects moved.
But anyway, or they knew they had the force already.
That's the 70s, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
That came later. What this lets us do is transform data that isn't even on our computer. And that's because we've spent multiple years really making FME work well with web services. Yeah. And we're very proud end-to-end, both desktop and server. And actually later on, Don might duck into that pain if I ask him nicely. Yeah. But we've been working for a long time on this, and I think the team has done a really interesting and good job. So one way that these manifest themselves is by these web connections that you can manage in your preferences. So you can create a whole bunch of these. You've played with these more than me, Don, but basically you can define a bunch of these, and now you reuse them over and over in your workspaces.
Over and over again. That's right. That's right. Now for each server, you have to generate a new client and secret. Yeah. But on the desktop, we ship a bunch. You're good to go. Yeah. And there's just thousands of these web services out there.
Yeah. Our issue is going to become a user interface issue, frankly, because there's too many in the pull down.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're going to have to look to categorize or
we've added the ability for you to put them on Hub, for users to put them on Hub.
Yeah. Because we recognize there's going to be more and more. I know you've got some niche ones.
I put up there NetAtmo, which is and GitHub. So NetAtmo is definitely a niche one. Yeah.
So that's the web connections. And when you make one of these, it pops up and you kind of log in. And so I might actually walk through that in just a second. And here's what it looks like in server. Yeah. So it's all there, and same as the database connections are in server in this same kind of way. Yeah. It looks like Tia was up to something there.
It does.
In this screenshot. Yeah. Good on you, Tia. She's got, these are all connected to FME Server itself.
Yeah, I can pull up the screen.
Self-referential.
There you go.
Actually, that is a big deal, though. You can make connections now to FME servers.
Which, if you work with multiple servers, that's a big deal. Because, Annabelle, Dale, and I, we all work with many servers, and now we just pull down the connection. So it saves tons. Again, a big time saver.
We don't have many masters, we have many servers.
That's right.
Right. So that's actually a better way to live. So let me see if I can get to the next slide. So that also allows us, one important family of web services are web file systems.
Yeah.
That they're just one family, and we've done a bunch of work specifically on these.
Yeah.
And so
Dropbox, Google
this
Drive.
fancy thing down here that looks like the Borg, that actually is
S3.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's the big B?
That's Autodesk 360.
Ah, okay. Really?
But I don't know where OneDrive is on this thing. We're missing one. The
Microsoft OneDrive. Oh, we're missing a logo, but we do it. We mentioned it.
We do it. We did give them. Okay, well, I know they're on the next slide. Oh,
right.
well, yeah, they are on the next slide.
Yeah, there we go.
So that's how it kind of looks. We have these various connector transformers.
Yep.
And there's a whole family of them that do their thing.
Yeah.
And let's go out to Workbench and just see how these play. Well, actually, first let's go look at the viewer, because what I wanted to do was show how we can actually pick a file right off of one of these and view it. So if I go open data set, and I know that I'm going to go picking something from scratch here, and if I do this, I have an option now that says select file from web.
Yep.
That's all new. And now I can go and pick any one of these. I'm going to go to my Google Drive. This lets me, the server one would actually let me pick on the server resources.
That's right. So now if you upload something to the server resource, you can use it from your desktop as well.
But let's go to Google Drive. And I do have a connection from last night, but I'm going to make a new connection just to walk through the process.
Sure.
Google Drive, and I'm going to call this the Meister 2. And I'm going to authenticate. And now I'm off to Google.
Yeah, and so you can see
Google.
And so the important point to note is that FME never ever gets access to your password or your user account. It you can see it's handed the control off to Google, and now FME is waiting for Google to give it back a special token.
And there we go. And so do I trust FME to view and manage my Google Drive? Why not?
Yeah,
I would say. So let's go for it. And there it is. There's the Meister. He's already logged in.
Yeah.
We could pick the new connection I made earlier, but I won't use that one. I'll just use this one. And I pick the file right from Google Drive.
Yeah.
And there it is. And then I have to identify that this is OGC GeoPackage tiles.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a rastery thing. And here is that connection. It kind of gives you a clue that it's a GeoPackage coming from Google Drive.
Yeah.
And we hit OK. And we see it's going to go out to Google Drive. And with any luck at all, how do you feel, Annabelle?
Good.
Good. She's confident. And we're pulling down that GeoPackage. We nervously await the arrival of the GeoPackage. Okay, where is that GeoPackage?
There it is.
And look at that.
Look at that.
That's an interesting map.
That's a very nice looking building.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to move into that building.
Yes, that's the new
safe headquarters.
Yeah, next a year from now, maybe we'll be broadcasting from there. It'll be on the edge.
It'll be on the edge.
Probably not.
But well, maybe we'll be broadcasting from there in an empty room.
It could be. Right now, this doesn't exist.
No,
but we're going to be in the top 4 floors of this thing.
Yeah.
And you notice how I placed this? I had to use the Sentinel readers and writers to give me this image area. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
I can see you and I in the front there.
Yeah, walking around.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. In terms of speed, we did mention that CSV reading and writing are much faster, primarily reading.
Like orders of magnitude faster.
And we're going to keep rolling that through. Actually, there's an all-new map info format, and the early reports are that it is 10 times faster than the old, because it's using this new technology that we've developed.
Yeah. So if you're worried about speed, as data sets grow bigger and bigger, we really take that seriously. And again, Dale talked about rewiring things.
Yeah.
This is a major endeavor we've taken. In 2017, we got all the plumbings there.
Yeah.
Now we just have to connect all the fixtures.
Yeah, the faucets aren't all hooked up.
Yes.
So if I could put time in a bottle, you know that song, Don?
Annabelle's not chewing your nails.
I think it's some British guy that sang that. Anyway,
I don't know.
We've done a bunch of work on date time.
Yeah.
And so we have an all-new date time calculator that understands all kinds of things, and you can add and subtract dates and do this sort of stuff. There's also in every one of the text editors, there's a bunch of date time functions
Nice.
that are there. So we can figure out where the time really went. if you have it, where does it go?
Yeah.
And now you'll be able to know.
That's right.
You can do math.
And now, yeah, so that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Dates were always difficult to.
Yeah. I mean, we spend about 30 seconds on this slide. This corresponds to, a couple years of hard work.
Yeah.
But but anyway, we're very proud of what the team has done, and looking forward to seeing that roll out.
Yeah.
Some of the new formats.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite there, Don?
Well, I'm excited about a couple things. Tableau, writing native on Mac and native on Linux is really excited about that. Also, click maps, reading and writing on all the formats. Those are BI systems, so those are really exciting. And of course, Cesium 3D tiles. It's it's kind of it's XML-like. It's JSON, but.
Yep. The Sentinel on AWS is kind of interesting.
That's a good one.
That lets you just pick an area and it'll go out there and find some fresh imagery for you.
And Planet, I know you put a lot of work into that.
Planet is the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
STL, we have to get a 3D printer, so that's the 3D printer format. STL.
Yep. Yeah. So Mapbox, MB Tiles, so just a whole bunch of things that I know, Don, you're excited about Tableau on the various platforms.
Yeah.
That's a big deal as well.
Yeah.
This is some of the stuff we're looking at doing in 2017.1. The big one there being Landsat 8 on AWS, so we're able to see that.
Yeah.
And actually might do something with our neighbors down the road here, Earthcast.
Yes.
They've got some stuff that we may work in. So FME is going to be a great vehicle for accessing and tapping into remote sensing data.
That's right. And this is only in 2017.1. So clearly we're continuing to add more, extend the reach of FME.
Yeah, the map info extended. Oh yeah, here they are, the three that we'll soon have that'll be able to be accessed. 2 of them are free. If you're a Planet person, you can go for free in California. Yeah. But they all have different characteristics.
Yeah. And the frequency line on the bottom there is just mind-blowing for folks that like us who've been in this industry for so long. Daily, weekly?
I used to, my first job at MDA actually was to write a log swag importer. And we should almost send a spork. If somebody can tell Annabelle what log swag means, I'll send them a spork. So we'll see if anybody comes up with that, the first person. But
I think that was a character in The Land of Og written by Pierre Burton, wasn't it?
It should have been. But anyway, we used to have to order a tape and then wait 3 or 4 weeks for it to come, and then go downstairs, put it in the machine, get it all whirling. Sometimes bad things would happen, as you and I both know, and then we get our data. And now you just, these young people these days, they have no idea how easy they have it. They just click in their office and then they're outraged because it might take 3 or 4 minutes to come down. They're gigabytes of data. They just have no idea. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we used to walk uphill to school both ways.
Exactly. Luxury is what I say. Okay. So effortless data transformation.
Effortless.
The dissolver did get faster, but he's still got a ways to go.
Oh, yeah. His best days are ahead of him.
Yeah. We have somebody who discovered the Higgs boson particle working on it. That's kind of, well, it's a bit of a stretch.
Well, we try not to do too much snapping. We try to,
But actually, the person that is working on it did work at the CERN when that was discovered. Okay. I don't know what they were doing, but they were on the premises.
They were on the premises.
So I'm sure it's a good thing. So these are many of these are these connectors for the different places. And what these connectors do is let you put files up, bring files down, this sort of stuff. Our British friends will be happy about the Grid and Quest 2, which gets them the most recent British transformations. So
and the geocoder, if you haven't looked, this geocoder is all new. So it was there before, but now this one allows you to access to many different geocoding services. Yeah, really exciting.
And some of them you have to get your own account to.
That's right.
And and some of these are renamed, like the old point connector is now a line builder, and that's a big change, but it's because we're trying to use the word connector to mean we connect to a web service.
And line builder's more.
It actually is what it does.
Exactly.
So
because when you connect points together, you generally end up with one.
And while we were at it, we put line on the front of extender because, I don't know, extender on its own seems a little...
it was missing a prefix.
These 2 at the bottom are very powerful point cloud ones. Maybe in the deep dive that will come later, Tiana and Mark can look at them. But the simplifier does some pretty sophisticated resampling of point clouds. Yeah. And the Surface Builder is the first time ever that we are smashing the 2.5D barrier and actually building a surface that wraps around it itself.
3D surfaces. Very exciting.
So, new frontiers. Yeah. On the update side, Don, you might want to talk to these, our S3 friends.
Yeah, our S3. We still haven't combined it into one. Ultimately, there will be something called an S3 connector. But what we've added now, you can see all the regions we've added. If new regions are added in the middle of a release, you can actually just type in the region name as specified by Amazon, and we will pick it up. We have exposed S3 acceleration,
which costs money, a little more money.
Yeah, a little more money. And of course it uses, under authentication, it uses our new connection technology.
Yeah,
as well.
And actually, I think the Canada one is in there, or at least it's
it will be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're pleased to welcome Amazon Web Services to Montreal.
Canada East.
East, and we like the sound of that East because that means...
It implies there might be a Central and a West.
Yeah, so thanks, Amazon.
Yeah.
All right, the raster mosaicer this was a long-standing, and actually this is showing pulling a bunch of planet scenes out and then putting them one on top of the other to kind of cover the image. And so by using the minimum, when basically this is a setting for when pixels overlap, what's going to happen. And you can we used to only take the last. Yeah. So the last pixel to hit 1.
Yeah, you can see there's cloud in the bottom left corner there.
Because if we're taking the average, we're kind of getting them rounded in, basically. Yeah. And a maximum is going to pull out all the cloud that there ever was. Yeah. These will be for these various scenes as they overlap.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's...
minimum,
yeah.
So that's, yeah.
The validator now tells us
where the problems are, which is really nice. Before they were encoded in a list and you had to do extra work.
Yep.
And so we like to make it easy. So there you go.
Yeah. Shortest path. We should use this for FME World Tour routing.
Yes.
So.
And anything less than a certain distance, look at maybe not taking a plane.
Yeah, that's also true. Yes, yes. One time, where did you go, Don?
I was going from St. Louis to Kansas, and we took a plane through Chicago. And it literally took us about 8 hours to get there. When at the airport they even told us we were nuts. Yeah. It was a 2-hour drive.
So I know Annabelle's looking forward to our Edmonton Calgary. We're going to take the big bus.
Red Arrow.
The Red Arrow.
Annabelle's already packed, actually. Yeah,
she's looking forward to it. When are we even there? April 8th or something? 7th, some kind. All of that. For those not aware, we'll touch it at the end. But FME World Tour is when we go out and spend a day with you all over the world. There's 70+ cities.
Yeah. Kickoff is in Victoria, March 1st.
Yeah.
And then North America is later.
We blitz in North America
in like 3 or 4 weeks later.
Yeah, I think April 2nd or something. We don't do it April 1st.
No, that
wouldn't be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And with that, I think Stephanie, do you want to hand over the mantle of presentation to Don, and he's going to show us how FME Server, just like, and I can say it on the air, just like the old Sorcerer's Apprentice got some help from the broom, FME Server can move that data automatically.
Yeah.
The trick is getting it to stop when you get going.
That's true. And so we've helped you with that too. So we'll talk about that.
Yes.
So so Dale's talked about desktop and engine, all the new things there. So I'm going to now we're going to show things about the FME Server, which we're really excited to show you. The first thing is there's the FME Server, the crystal ball. You can see the reflection of the lizard in there, which is pretty cool. But the first thing is we looked at the FME Server navigation and the whole web page of things, and our goal is always to reduce clicks. So so this is the old interface, and with a little bit of magic and a lot of hard work, we now have this new interface. So I will just walk through that quickly so you can see the benefits here. Okay, so here's the old one, and the old one, I mean, it looked nice, but there was a lot of clicking, and so if I wanted to change, look at user security, I'd have to click once on manage, and then I look, it's administration, there's 2, and then security, there's 3, and now I got to wait for that, and then user, so that's like 4 clicks to get into user management. In the new one, I've logged in, and literally I'm in security in 1 click, and so I can also see exactly what, as a user, I have permission to do. If I logged in as a different user, I would have less power.
I see.
Yeah. So that's now I logged in as myself. So since I gave myself,
you're powerful.
I'm powerful. But if I log in over here as a different user, which I will do, you'll see that this user doesn't have as much power as administrator. And so, well, like Dale, we all have our, have to type the password correctly. And there you go. See, you can see this user doesn't have any access to security, but it's very clear to him what he can do. He doesn't have to go clicking around to discover he's the wrong user. So that's a big deal there. Okay.
There's lots of love being sent to the new interface over the questions here, Don.
Okay, excellent. So that's the first thing. Okay. So now the next challenge we had is it was very difficult to move solutions from one server to another. So, for example, I have a solution which I'm going to import here, which has it has a repository. You can just do individual workspaces, but I like to create a repository that's part of this new thing we're calling projects. Okay, and so let's have a look at what I have in here. I have a couple of workspaces. I have a publication. I have a subscription. I have 2 topics, I have a connection, and I have a schedule, and I have some resources. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that make up my solution. My solution is you drag and drop when a file appears in a directory, it's going to trigger it to a topic that's going to run a workspace, it's going to publish to another topic, and then also it's going to run a schedule that's going to clean up that directory. So
Don, I would love to get that off you.
Yeah. Okay. So I will. Yeah, it's very simple to do, and I'll demo it. But it's really simple. I put all this in a project, which I'll show you in a minute. And so this is basically the scenario we're trying to solve. You build something in development, you want to move it to test, to staging, to production. Really easy. It's a bundle. And so there's a number of benefits. One is that easy to move a project from one machine to another. The second benefit is you can export it. Let's say you have your project working, you want to back it up because you want to continue on it. And we all know it. Sometimes we decide we have a great idea. 6 hours into it, we realize that, you know what, maybe this wasn't such a good idea, but now you've backed up your project, you can easily roll back. Third benefit is you can give this to others, which we're going to go through that in a minute. And the last benefit, which is coming, is you'll be able to publish this project to the hub to share with others. So that's that. So now we will, I will go, oh, I keep doing that. So now I'm going to go to this other window here. Okay. And I'm logged in as this user, which is great. Get that out of the way. And I'm going to, right now I don't have, if you look in my schedules, you can see I don't have any schedules on this machine. This is all running FME Server and Docker on my Mac. So people, that's how I run FME Server now. It works like a...
For testing, I mean, this whole Docker idea means you can just play around on your own machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to import a project here. I'm going to click import. It's from a local file. Yeah, I'm going to overwrite. I'm going to upload a file. And if I go to FME 2017, and here is projects. Where's projects? Where's projects? Okay, there it is, projects. And project backups, and I have one here from January 9th, and I click that, I say open, and now it's importing the projects, and this only takes a couple seconds. There you go. Now if I look under my schedules, you're going to see I have a schedule. Okay, there it is there. It's scheduled to run every day. If I look under repositories, you're going to see that now I have a repository that I added to this. It's got 2 workspaces in it. I have a resources, so I actually put a resources file in there called data. Under data, it's called, there it is, watch directory. That's the directory I watch to. And in fact, if I want to look at the project, I can look at the project here, and I can simply look inside it. And you'll see all the things that I have inside that. I have a repository, a schedule, a couple topics, subscription, publisher, resource folder, and a connection. And yeah. And so if I wanted to test it, I could do that. I would just simply, with time, maybe we'll do that at the end. I would simply drag and drop a folder, a file, into this directory. It would trigger a topic that would run a workspace. So this is a great framework for anybody who wants to build that directory watch scenario. Yes. This is effectively the framework for doing that, and away you go. So that's the first thing, and that's a big deal for anybody who's has that issue of wanting to move small things from one server to another. So there we go. So that's the first thing we've done there. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay, the second thing is, or maybe it's the third thing. The third thing is more and more workflows are dependent on these third-party applications or databases, things like that. And from time to time, an FME engine would hang. It might make a call to a web service, it never gets back to it. And you can never tell if a web service is slow or if it's never going to get back to you, right? Or it would just take too long. Maybe there's only so much time this FME engine has to do a task. And if it doesn't do it, it's basically you want to kill it. In the past, the engine would just hang. It would just wait forever. And so users would find it over time. And we even had it with ours because we eat our own dog food. We have this workflow, and it would just every once in a while this outside web service would just hang, and so the engines would hang. So now we've added this ability for you to do that. So I'll show you how to do that. So the solution is now on schedules and run workspace. You have this running job expiry time, and that's measured in real time, not CPU time. Yeah. And if the job takes too long, it's killed, and the resolution is down to a second. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's kind of, if Mickey would have had this when those brooms started to bring too much water into the house, they'd have just stopped after 15 minutes.
That's right, exactly. So we've used that at FME at SAFE. If I go to Blue Sky here. Let's see, I think it's this one here. Yeah, and if I go to, you can see I have this timer workspace that takes 60 seconds, but every time it runs, I only give it 5. But more of a real story is if I go to schedules here, schedules, there's this transit one that we run that runs every minute, and, no, not that one, sorry, this one here. I'm back in the wrong one. Okay. This one here. And this one should take about 10 seconds to run, but from time to time it gets hung. And so what we did is we just said, you know what, it takes 10 seconds, we're going to give it 30. After 30 seconds, kill the job. And since we've done that, this server, we haven't had to restart engine. So this is a big, we're pretty excited about this one as far as, in large deployments, keeping things going. Okay, updated security. We completely redid our security model. It's backward compatible, of course, but the first thing we did is we redid Active Directory. So let me show you that. Yeah. So this is a big deal here. So now I click on security, and right from the dialog now, you can see that I've configured one Active Directory. I didn't click. One Active Directory server, and that's oh, wrong machine, sorry. That was a bit of a fright. That one there, and I got to log out as this user because that user doesn't have security. So now I'm going to log in as admin, and you never guess what my password is. Okay, so now on security here, you will see that there's Active Directory, and I've added support for safes. And I can import users or groups. This one doesn't have synchronization. You can change it to synchronize if you want, but I haven't done that. And then let's say I wanted to import you. So I can go here, and I'm going to give Dale control of this machine, and then he'll be able to log in here. Okay, so I simply say DAL, and I say import, and now Dale is, if I go back to users now I will see Dale is there, and I can edit him, and I can give him FME author permission, and save that. And so now Dale, if I logged off, Dale would be able to log in, and he wouldn't, it's as easy as that. I don't have to tell him what his password is. Yeah. And to be clear, FME Server is importing the information from the Active Directory server. The authentication is still done by Active Directory. So again, FME does not know the users or passwords or anything like that. And the nice thing about the way we did this one is we have many large customers who have many Active Directory servers. So you can just add as many as you want. If you want to import a group, you can import a group. Many things to do. The other thing that we've really done, which we're excited about, is what if I delete a user? Let's say we delete Dale. Sorry about that, Dale.
Whoops.
But in the past, things would be left orphaned. But
Yeah.
now when you remove a user, it asks you, where do you want all the items that Dale
At least
owns to be assigned?
my stuff will go to a good home.
Yeah, that's right. So by default, we say it's going to go to the admin. But I always like to see what Dale's up to. So I'm going to take full control of everything. Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to rifle around through all your repositories and stuff. So there. So now it's very clear. Nothing's lost. And so we're pretty excited about that as well. And so that's that one. The last thing is in the past it was the administrator that would assign sharing and things. Now we've taken up a model like Google and others, where when a user creates something, by default that user owns it, and then the user can share with other users. Or so if I go into here, I'm logged in as Don here. Oh, admin doesn't matter. I can go here. Oh, I better log in as proj user because that guy imported that project. Okay, proj user. Okay, and I got it right that time. So now you can see this guy has a repository. If he wants to share it, you can see the little symbol here. I simply can say share with others, and I can share with a user. So I could share with this D. Murray guy. And I could give him full access, and then I could also share with roles. So I could say I'm going to give it to every FME author, and I'm going to say they can run it. And I say OK, and now if I go back in, you can see that it's shared with one user and one role. So there's that. Of course, when an account's set up, the administrator can decide if there's shared directories, repositories, resources that he wants a whole group to share. But by default, this is the way it works. So yeah, so a lot being done for FME Server. So you can just see all the things. Anytime where you see that plus symbol is where, with the head, is where you can share things. So you can just see all the different things. So wherever you see that, that's where users have full control. Okay. And that's that. Okay, so that is, boy, oh boy, there's so many more other things we did on server.
Did you show the database connections and stuff?
Oh, okay, I'll go back and I'll do that.
Because I'm excited about that. That's a really big chunk of work.
It really is. So, yeah, so when you publish something to the server, so I better go back to my blue sky one here because I know this is one we use internally. If I go to connections, web connections, you'll see all the different web connections we have. You'll see an FME server there is a token. This enables me to connect, or Stuart in this case, to connect quickly. Here's a NetAtmo one, for example. So that's one of the ones I added. If I click on it and I say authorize, it'll now take me to that screen and will ask me. So here we go. We're loading that. And yeah, so now as you can see, this is control. Just like on desktop, control's been passed to NetAtmo to log in, and
wow.
So, yeah, and then so again, only the token goes back, and yeah, and all the others. Now, if I go back here, the big thing to note when you publish to server is these connections are published up, but here's where you have to go on the actual OAuths, the client site, and you need to get these new client IDs and client secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it actually prompts you for that at publish time on the desktop to make it as easy as possible. Because part of OAuth is you have the OAuth service itself, like GitHub, has to know that this is that particular instance of FME Server. So there you go. So that's that. So hopefully that's what. Okay. Now in FME Cloud, we continue to work to make FME Server in the cloud as good as possible. One thing that no users will not see, but is a big security thing, is Nginx. We put Nginx on top of Tomcat, and it gives a number of nice things. One is that WebSocket could go through the same port as other HTTP traffic and things like that. But a lot of the things they did was this new FME Cloud launch magic. So, and this goes down to us trying to figure out ways to reduce the price for users. So you can just see, I'm launching a new server here, and I pick whatever one I want. I, of course, picked the latest beta, and now I'm going to configure my server. I picked a starter. I gave 50 gig of primary and 10 gig of temp. The thing to note is that only the primary disk is backed up. So temp is mapped to the resources temp area on your server. So anything you put in temp will not be backed up, and therefore will not be counted against your storage charges. Right. And we had users in the past, they had huge temp, but they didn't care about it. When we took a snapshot, we backed up temp, which meant their costs were...
I kind of got busted about temp this morning. I don't know if you caught that, because last night when I was working on that image that I wanted to show, it was in my /temp.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I was viewing it from.
Yeah.
And then today,
it's gone.
It's gone because when you reboot your Mac...
Yes, it's gone.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go. And you can also control the number of backups, up to 10. And I live on the edge a little bit, so I'm only going 2. And then last but not least, you can configure alerts, and I've set alerts so I get an email if my machine gets slow or it's unresponsive or the disk is full, and more are going to be added over time. Like, it might be nice, somebody might want to know when they might want to be watching the download traffic from a server, and so if maybe if somebody, once they hit 100 gig in a week or something, they want to know. So that's something else that will be coming later. And last but not least, we give you a really nice graph that shows you the cost per month, and it shows you where your costs are. So for this machine here, it's $180 a month just for the EC2, and the rest is the storage. So so great amount of work has gone out here for the guys. Of course, they've added more and more regions as well, so that's exciting. And the whole point of that was, again, working to reduce the price. So by making these changes on the disk, the way we allocate disk, the pricing's been reduced for lower now for 95% of the users because I'm adding that temp, and so some of our users have been very excited about that. Okay. And then last but not least, I think I guess the second to last thing, FME Hub. FME Hub is the place where all the building blocks of FME can be put. So you can see that, and I'll go there as I walk through. Go back to Firefox on this window over here. And no, I don't have that one open, so I go hub.safe.com, hub.safe.com, .co. It's always dangerous on the internet when you mistype it's blocked. Whew, good thing.
We don't want that.
Hub.safe.com. Thank you.
I wonder what's
that could have been really embarrassing.
Hub.safe.co. I'm curious now.
I'm not so curious. Yeah. You can do that at home. So you can see all the different things that are up on the hub. And and you can click on one. So transformers, if you just click there, you see all the transformers that Safe and others have put up there. There's 270. You can see the you can sort by the most downloaded, and then you can start to see, oh, it's not the logarithmic guide. And same with formats. You can click on formats and see there's a bunch of formats. There's like 10 formats up there. Templates, which are like samples that people have put up, which is a workspace and everything you need to get going. You can see there's 89 up there.
Web connections even.
And then web connections, because there's like 20,000 web services, and they change from time to time. So you can see the ones that don't ship with FME that we put up. So Instagram, Bitly, Asana, GitHub, and NetAtmo. So there's 5 there, and in the future there will be projects there. We've talked also about this package notion.
Yeah.
So lots, but this is what FME Hub
there
is
was
all
a
about.
question in the thing about, can people write their own web connections? And this is the answer. Yes, you can.
Yes.
We want you to, so that you put them here to share with others. It's a little tricky. We can make it better, but
yeah. And unfortunately, everyone is, for each one, you're going to have to go to the provider, the OAuth provider. So if I did NetAtmo, I had to go to the NetAtmo site and read a few things on how to configure it. But as Dale said, we're happy to help you. So that's the FME Hub, and so we're excited about that. So what's coming up, Dale?
Well, when are we going to actually release this thing?
That's a good idea.
Well,
So-
that isn't what we're... Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it's we're going to release March 1st
Mm-hmm.
to coincide with the FME World Tour.
Kickoff, yeah. So right now, well, I guess we have a slide on that too, but in terms of what's coming up for us, we hinted at it already. We've got our big world tour, which goes March till end of April.
Yep.
Again, North America, if you haven't signed up for wherever it is, where do you go to actually, Don? Is it FMEWT?
I think you can go there, or you can just go to safe.com. I'm kind
Let's
of
go finding out. I don't know.
I think if I go safe.com, Whoa, I better be careful of the domains.
Not co.
That's right.
Okay.
And okay. There we go.
So is there?
I think it's right on the front page here. Register for the World Tour, and you can just say view schedule.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
So that's
and then
pretty
there's
easy.
also down here, there's register. This will stay around. Who knows what happens to the front page, but this will always stay right here.
And that's for our other thing.
The UC. Yeah, and probably if I go, what did you said FMEWT.
I don't know, but FME UC will get you something.
Yeah.
Because that's our other big event.
Yeah.
Besides the World Tour, is we have a huge worldwide user conference here in June.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to hosting everybody at that.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
And it's at the there it is. It's at the May 24th to 26th, and it's right there at the convention center, right on the water in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And there's going to be hundreds of users from around the world.
Yeah. I was just, if you move your mouse down a little bit, let's see, down here.
Yeah.
I was just in a meeting right there. That's where EarthCast lives.
Wow.
Right, exactly there.
Wow.
And nice. Those are the folks that are another one of these remote sensing companies that's going to be soon covering the Earth every day. And maybe they'll go up this flight of stairs and come visit us when we're going to have Chris Hatfield there. Yeah,
I know it's going to be a lot of fun, and the food is fantastic too.
Yeah.
And lots of learning.
Yeah.
Lots of and you just meet our amazing FME community, and I know we all leave just completely humbled by the amazing work that they're all doing.
And for users, you will go home learning more about how to use FME more productively, which will make you more valuable to your organization.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we're very excited about that.
Yep.
And will be a lot of fun. It's actually also the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, I think.
It is on May something.
One of those days.
Yeah.
So
if they were thinking, they would have made it May the 4th.
Oh, that would have been good.
Would have been,
but George Lucas wasn't that.
No, he didn't see that. That's right.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that's what's coming up for us.
Yep. There we go.
And in terms of the actual FME 2017, right now you can grab a release candidate. We're going to be continuing to refine and just polish it up, because after all, we did tear her down to the studs.
Yeah.
So there's a few more edges that need sanding.
Yeah.
So please give it a spin. If there's things that you want to test that are important to your workflows, do that.
And let us know. Let us know what you like and you don't like. If you find something, please let us know as soon as you can. You can on the community. You can send info to. You can send your stuff to info@safe.com, support@safe.com. You can send a tweet to Dale and myself. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you're up at 3 a.m. and you find something about FME that bugs you. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So.
And live chat.
And live chat. Thank you, Annabelle. And live chat is right. I guess got to go to our Safe page. I got to go safe.com. Safe.com. It's not on that one. That's interesting. Okay. Hopefully it's on. Now we say it, it's going to be there. So, there it is. Okay, we're offline, but we'll be online any minute now. Basically, they come online at 9 or shortly after.
Yes,
so there you go. But we can still leave a message. You could say something like,
"Good morning.
Help me with FME 2017." So we'll leave that message for them, and
they'll be really pleased.
They'll be really pleased to get that. They'll wonder who the heck it is. So so with that, I think
we'll wrap it up and bid you do now. We're going to go through a bunch of the questions that came around, and if you want to keep chatting with us, go ahead. But just as we kind of wrap up the formal part of this, and again, you're invited to hang around while Don and I discuss. I got a whole bunch of interesting things here that we'll walk through.
Perfect.
That people have been asking about. Yep. But if you have to leave, thank you so much for your support. Some of you have been supporting us for more than 20 years.
Yeah, and we really appreciate it. And
couldn't have got here without you.
And it's the community that keeps it fun. I mean, Dale and I are as excited about this release as anyone, maybe more so. And we just love the opportunity to work with you all.
Yes. Yeah. So thanks so much for tuning in. We really believe and hope that FME 2017 will make you even more powerful wizards and magicians in your workplaces than you already are today. And look forward to meeting you on the road on World Tour
and
or here
in Vancouver. Yeah.
So that's all for the formal part. Now the fun part, where we can go through some questions.
Yeah. So
Well, I don't know. We'll get Annabelle's, but I think we got a fairly spirited debate among the user base about Manhattan versus curvy.
Yes, that's why we gave people both, I think.
It's passionate.
Because it's, it's a very...
One person said they think that curvy just looks messy.
Okay.
And I think that they would subscribe to the Mark Stokes, a tidy desk reflects a tidy mind.
Well, so if you come to visit, I'll make sure you don't come to my office. Yeah. Well, I have that 10 transformer rule anyway, so maybe curvy.
But it is funny, some people like it so much they want to be able to right-click on each link and request each link.
Oh my goodness.
To be curvy or Manhattan.
Wow.
So that's how much. People also want to be able to color links too.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
And I would say maybe make links fatter or thinner. While we're at it. Style up those links.
Yeah. Well, you can make them invisible.
Yes. Somebody, actually, Don, do you want to fire up Workbench? Somebody was a little bit confused about the geocoder. And I think if we just pop one down, we can show how that thing works.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, just put down a geocoder on there.
Yeah.
So it isn't that we provide a geocoder. When you pop this thing up...
I'll connect it just for fun.
Yeah.
So, I'm using Curvy. Sorry for those.
So there's the key thing, the geocoding service.
Yeah.
So that's where you can then take and choose those.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's the OpenStreetMap one.
Yeah.
That is a free one. Now you have to set up your own. Like if I select that one, then you got to set up a Nomentin. Tim, how do you say that? Nomentin server. Yeah. Anyway, but
I didn't know that was a word.
Neither did I. Until I found out. Yeah. So there you go. So that's what we mean.
What dark magic is that? It's like abracadabra or hocus pocus.
That's right.
Nomentin.
So, there we go.
It's like a spell you could cast on somebody.
It's a Nomentin spell.
So, wow, okay, so anyway, someone else said, and I actually haven't seen this, Don, can you show us how you get to the Node.js stuff? You put down a JavaScript caller?
I'm on Mac. Oh, it's there. Okay.
So, I don't know what happens. If you pop that thing open, is there a Node.js option in there?
Yep, there is.
There it is.
Yeah.
So, we can call out if you like using Node.js to do JavaScript.
Yeah.
And somehow there's a way you can add various Node.js packages and do that.
Yeah, that would be in the code. You do imports, and just as any Node.js, you would basically
there it is.
In here.
You do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So someone asked, why the heck would you use this?
Well, maybe the nice thing about Node.js is it's asynchronous, so you can have features go in, make a web call.
Yeah.
Your workspace continue, and then when the features come back, they will be spit out of that port. So,
and also, there's a huge number of libraries for this thing that connect. Sometimes we've come across some web services that only have Node.js nice APIs.
Yeah.
So that's
it is kind of interesting because JavaScript typically is a browser side thing, but Node.js enables JavaScript on the server, so it's very, very powerful. And again, it fits with FMEs. Our sort of mantra is we don't want to reinvent stuff, so we've always built gateways into Python, TCL, even the system caller, so we can embrace third parties. And this is just another way to enable you to embrace third-party technology.
Yeah. So someone else commented that how we were talking about how easy young people have it today.
Yeah.
They said that when they were young, they were given a bowl of cold gravel for breakfast, and that was their luxury for that.
Wow.
I think that life was hard in New Zealand. I happen to know who that was.
Did they add water to that, or was it dry?
It said it was cold gravel. I don't know.
Hopefully
it could have been dry.
A bit of water in there.
Someone else asked, okay, these web connections, they seem like they hold the keys to your kingdom. If you put that stuff in there and you got that token, so how secure is that from hackers and ne'er-do-wells and even accidentally giving it to your friend?
Yeah, very secure is the bottom line. Because if I give you this workspace with a connection, you're still going to have to give your password, your user and password to get access. So if anybody steals that, when they get to authentication time, they're going to have to get that. Soon, before we put all this stuff in the hub, when you export for sharing, you'll be able to specify delete all secure stuff. So then your client ID and your secret key will be blanked out because you got to go get those anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and if I save a workspace as a template, right now, if that had some web connections in it, I think when I give it to you, they aren't going to be included.
That's right.
But we are thinking actually that we'll give you an option. If I want Don to get at my certain Google Drive stuff, which seems to be flaky,
Yeah.
I could opt to include that. Right today we don't, though.
Yeah, yeah, and in fact, if I gave you that project with those connections, if I
Yes.
had connections with web services and I gave it to you and you put it on your server, it would not work.
Yes.
Because you're going to have to change the redirect URL to your server, and the OAuth provider is always going to call back to my server. And if you go in there and change the redirect URL, the OAuth provider is going to say, that's not the registered. That's not the registered callback URL, so it's just going to deny you.
So you'd have to set up a new client ID and secret.
Exactly.
So bottom line is, this OAuth stuff, we really did think, and in fact, I think the security analyst guy beat us up a little bit on it.
Yeah, and the databases are encrypted, you know, even on top of all of this.
Yeah, so they're pretty darn secure. Yeah. Don, you've done more with the GLTF. Someone was asking what can it be used for?
Yeah, GLTF is the 3D buildings inside Cesium. So GLTF is to Cesium as Collada is to KML. Yes. So we have the Cesium writer out there. We also have GLTF because sometimes people just want the GLTF 3D models to work with.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answers that.
Yep. So that's what we're doing there. And so if there are 3D objects around, we can basically take any 3D object now and make a GLTF. Yeah, we can. So we can do that. Don, this is up your alley. Hybrid authentication in FME Server.
Yes, absolutely.
I knew you'd be excited about that.
Thanks for asking that.
I think it was Jeff Fox.
One thing I didn't even show that.
Thanks for asking, Jeff. You can tell Don is excited.
Yeah. Now I just have to figure out where my window went. Oh, here it is. Oh, come on, Firefox. Okay, well, we're going to close this guy here. Oh, there he is. So if I go to that server, localhost here, localhost, because Blue Sky, I wasn't brave enough to give it access to our public or private thing. So if I go here, I got to log in as a different user. Sorry, you can keep talking, Dale. It'll take me about 15 seconds.
Sure. Someone asked if they can install both FME 2016 and 2017 at the same time. Yes. Annabelle, how many FMEs do you have installed?
I don't want to say.
Come on, you can share it.
Probably like 20.
See, Annabelle has 20. She's very prolific with her use of FME.
So you can see here I am at this. Oh, I got to share my screen. Oh, a bummer. Is it my screen shared?
Yeah, I think that's you.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Good.
That's what's live up there on that.
Oh, good. Okay. So you can see some of them are system and some of them are LDAP, which is Active Directory. In fact, I can turn off if I want to hide Active Directory. Okay. I can do that. I can add, and I can create new, non-LDAP. So this is just new
Let's
user.
Put Annabelle in there.
Okay, Annabelle. Hopefully I spelled that right. I didn't, did I?
You didn't know. It's symmetrical.
Honestly.
Like that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's the only symmetrical name.
And I'm just going to. So then you can, anyway, pick a password.
If we had a Bob here, do we have a Bob?
And I can give her.
We have a Robert.
Yeah, but that's not symmetrical.
Say, okay.
I don't think he'd like it.
And now you can see I've added Annabelle. Her full name is a bit questionable, but you can see that one's system. When I added Dale, he'd be LDAP.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
So the answer is yes. Yes to the hybrid. Don, I know another one you're excited about. Several people saying we got stuff in Azure. When is SAFE going to do anything with Azure? What's the deal with Azure?
So they want to run their FME instances in Azure?
They don't really say. They just
yeah. So Azure reading, we can support some of the Azure databases
already. Yep.
Yeah, already. If you want to run FME Server in Azure, the way to do that right now is you install FME Server on Azure. Azure support with from FME Cloud, that is a project that's underway. Our plan for clouds in general is to use Docker. So I'm having this FME for Docker running on my Mac. It runs on Linux. It runs on Windows. It runs anywhere that supports Docker. And so it'll also run in the cloud. So we have some exciting news coming up there where we're going to then be able to deploy this to other cloud providers like Azure, DigitalOcean, things like that.
And having said that, there's a couple of big customers doing lots with FME and Azure stuff today. In fact, actually, if you go to FME Hub, isn't there a whole pile of FME Hub tab?
There are. Yeah. So if I type Azure and I turn all these on because I don't want to just look at web connections, I want to look at them all and see that. I didn't even have to click search. See that?
Look at that. So there's a bunch of Azure things there.
Yeah, uploader, downloaders, blob listers, and deleters.
And there's the DocumentDB NoSQL database that we support in main FME.
That's right. That's right.
So on. So
So and that was put up by these Azure ones. Many of them are put up by our nice Jan Blicky.
Yes, he's coming to the FME UC.
Yeah,
he's the head of the European Environment Agency.
Fantastic. guy and presenter and FME guru.
Yeah. Okay. Someone asked about time zones, and yes, the all that date calculation stuff. I think in 2017.0 it doesn't fully support time zones, but that's coming really quick, either in .1 or else 2018. But we have all the infrastructure. Again, another case where the plumbing is all there.
Yeah.
We just haven't shown it.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, what's the deal with, what is MapInfo Extended Tab? And that is, MapInfo 16 has a new file format, actually.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
Yes. Now, the MapInfo Extended Tab reader in FME can read both old and new.
Okay.
And in fact, we would recommend people only use that moving
So
forward.
what's the big deal with Extended Tab? Better support for international character sets? Is that?
That's one of the things. Actually, if you fire up a Workbench, it won't be on a Mac. That's the downside. And you can do SQL queries against it.
Oh,
so it's available to SQL Creator and Query.
So is it built on top of SQLite?
We don't know, but it appears to be.
Okay.
But an educated guess would say yes.
Okay.
And it can actually, you can also read geo packages through that thing.
Interesting.
As well. But the big thing about Extended Tab, besides the fact that it's much faster, is it has richer support for data types. We haven't figured out yet if it has non-integer coordinates. In other words, it might be floating point instead of integer. The old one was.
Yeah.
And and it has proper Unicode type character support. The old MapInfo tab was a bit sketchy when you came to foreign character sets.
Okay.
So that's the Extended Tab story.
Wow.
Vector tiles. Many people asking, do the safe do vector tiles?
Not yet.
We're starting to do some 3D tile stuff.
Yeah.
But
with like Cesium. And I3S is in the
coming, but then we as with all things, we always like to do the hard stuff first.
That's right.
So why do 2D vector tiles when you could do 3D?
That's right.
So then we'll circle around.
But we do MB tiles raster.
Yes, that's what got people asking.
Yeah.
So there's that. Some were asking, they want us to go deeper into stuff, and I don't think we talked about it actually here, what's coming up, but in February there will be both a deep dive
for desktop
and
for server.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. I think.
And certainly, if there's topics people would like us to do a deeper dive, just let us know, and then we can look, because we do deep dive webinars throughout the year, and there could be a topic that people want to deep dive on that we are not aware of. So.
Yeah. Someone reports that the SQL writer in FME 2017 can't do bulk insert. So Annabelle will be right on that, I can tell.
And thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
In the old days, we'd send people to the movies. We can't afford to do that anymore. That's because ticket prices have gone so much. So let's see. All right. Connections, I think, I don't remember if there's actually a connection type for ArcGIS Online. But if there isn't, I know we're going to support OAuth for ArcGIS Online, and that will make it much better, and that's coming.
Okay.
So let's see. Anything for PDFs? There was some work done, but I know that most of the PDF work has been in terms of planning what we're going to do. Are you a part of that group, Annabelle?
No, but they've done some changes to the writer to make it a little more friendly.
Yeah, but the big PDF push is going to come later. Owen asks about the point cloud surface builder. I have not tried that myself.
No.
But
Dimitri's played with it lots, I think.
It's one of the things that it does is a great job of roofs.
Yeah.
So really, that thinner and this thing back to back are good roofing.
Yeah, and our thinner is it's smarter than just like sampling everyone. Like you can tell it to basically build building fronts and things like that. Yeah.
On the BIM side, there wasn't a lot of change this release.
No.
I don't think.
Just the BCF format.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The building collaboration format.
Yeah.
So that is a important thing for some customers, and supporting some of these things like Autodesk 360 gets us there. Is there any other questions, Annabelle, that we should cover?
They're talking about version control, but there is an idea on the...
So for FME 2017.1 server, we've it's going to have GitHub support. So we built the entire REST API and all the backend. That's the way we build server. And for 2017.0, though, we have not put on the GUI yet, but that'll come for .1. And you'll be able to configure it up. So every time you publish the server, it will be a different version. And we've had some users use FME Server, just the repository stuff, without actually buying it. They would install it and kind of use it like an FME for work groups kind of thing, where everybody has their own repository, pushes stuff up there. From an IT perspective, it's nice because IT knows exactly if they back up this directory that they have everything thing. But anyway, so that's going to come very, very quickly in .1. So we're excited about that. And then you'll be able to, of course, use all the GitHub tools, pull up the latest one, and stuff like that.
So someone asked, you know how we said that you get the numbers of things that are rejected and so on in some cases. If you run with full inspection turned on, then any port where it isn't connected, the numbers will show up. And that person did not know that. So in this example, I can see that one thing came out, the logger here, at the very end. And if I click that, I think
actually see it.
Yes, I think I do. Double click, okay. There it comes. And so then I would see this exciting feature, which actually is completely null. But
yeah, and that, now of course there is, that's an authoring time thing. There's a price to be paid, but the value for that is huge. Because sometimes you don't want to be dropping down all these visualizers all over the place at times. Yeah.
So anyway, that's this button here that you can kind of toggle off and on that I'm hovering over. Someone else said, how did the or basically how often do we look at the ideas exchange for ideas? We do look at those and
weekly at the latest.
Do not be discouraged if you only get a few votes for them. We do consider everyone's ideas there and try to feed that into our mix. Obviously the ones with high votes try to get prioritized, but the ones that we know are strategic or really would help somebody, we try to do as well.
And sometimes an idea with low votes might get done simply because it's a really simple change. Where some of the ideas on there are massive amounts of work. So it's always a balancing act.
To be very clear, desktop, there is nothing in the plumbing yet for FME Desktop or Workbench to connect to Git, but that's something that we're looking at. The plumbing is there for server, but again, we're sort of dipping our toe into to that world. And I think I'm out of anything talk about. How about you, Annabelle?
Well, you covered the ideas. That was Aaron's thing.
All right. I think Don and I need to go do a smoothie run.
I think we do. Yeah.
Somebody asked if we had coffee this morning. This is how we are in the morning.
Yeah.
Or did you have coffee?
I had coffee. I have coffee every morning.
See, I never have coffee. I don't know what would happen to me if I did.
Yeah, it would be scary.
Actually, one time someone accidentally gave me a caffeinated drink, and I was a bit like the Tasmanian devil.
There was an unfortunate smoothie bucket incident. But
Don't go to, well, I shouldn't.
No, you can't say that.
I won't, but there is one smoothie vendor in the United States that I think actually puts caffeine into their smoothies. Don had to
it was a 4-liter smoothie drink. Fortunately, we were next to a Starbucks, so you could get your hot chocolate.
He wheeled me over to the Starbucks. I'm not joking. I was shaking.
His core temperature reached 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Then Don poured a bunch of warm beverage into me.
And then we went his face a few times.
And then we went to a really important meeting in California. So there's one smoothie vendor that is banned. I was pleased to see there was a survey of the worst drinks that you can buy in the United States, and that smoothie vendor was actually listed as the top one.
Oh, there you go. So that confirms
for their peanut butter smoothie special. I did not have that one, but it's not hard to imagine.
That's right.
Clean that crap.
Oh, Aaron would like to answer from Andrew.
And what is it?
Can FME Server send email using Exchange via SMTP?
Yes, you can use SMTP. You have to authenticate somehow. And hey, there's Mary. Mary has asked any change with HTML Reporter. I don't recall if we did many things. There was a few minor things, maybe.
Minor tweaks here and there.
But we know. See, on the whole reporting side, Mark Stokes is kind of gathering some information there, and we'll look to do that. And Mary, I do owe you an apology. I owe you an email back, and I will do that. So thanks for tuning in today, and we'll email you back about another matter soon. So I think we're going to call that it.
So thanks so much for tuning in, and please do keep in touch. There's many ways to get in touch with us, and we always love to hear from you all. So thank you.
Thanks. Almost 200 people stuck it out to the bitter end here. So really, really appreciate, again, your ongoing support for us, and we'll keep on trying and working.
And having fun.
There's lots on the board for FME 2018 already. So
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
And
Even
hope to
greater.
Yeah, even greater. And we
Yeah.
look forward to seeing you on the road and on
It's
the
going to
road
be
tour.
so great. We don't even want to talk about how great it's going to be.
That's right.
So,
We have great
Tremendous.
we have great plans.
Tremendous.
yeah, but we don't want to get too braggadocious here. So
Huge.
it's all right. We better stop.
We
right
better
there.
stop.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
As Ferris Bueller says, go home now. It's over.